Hello there, my mate Vince here and welcome to another Fix It video. A video where I try to fix a variety of different things in the one video. Some of the things have been purchased from eBay as faulty, other things have been sent into the channel by viewers. So hopefully you will find a nice mixture of faults. Sit back, relax, let's get on with the Fix It. I'm going to be trying to fix up a Raspberry Pi 4 computer. A tiny little computer. I bought it faulty from eBay. There's not many of these for sale on eBay, not many faulty ones anyway, loads of working ones. This is a Raspberry Pi 4 model and I believe it is the 2GB one of RAM. Now I paid, I think it was £13 for it. I put an offer in. There might have been a bit of postage. I'll flash it up on screen. And the seller put does not boot. It powers up but it don't give any signs of life. Repair is beyond my knowledge. Maybe me too. 99% hardware failure, nothing can be fixed via software. 2GB RAM version. So see, I love that because I hate software, but I like the hardware side of things. So I'm looking forward to seeing if we can find out what's wrong with this. So first things first, let's plug it in, see what it's doing. I think he said that it powers up, but it doesn't give any signs of life. So let's see now, are you drawing anything? Red light, but it's not drawing anything at all. It's just gone off and it's still not drawing anything. So this should be an interesting one. Now I failed horribly before when I was working on one of these, and I actually then bought another one to try to fix the faulty one, and I managed to break that one too because my probe slipped as I was. It's so simple. I was measuring down here, I slipped, I shorted between, I think it was that cap and that cap or something, I can't remember what I did, and it was only for a split second and that was enough to completely blow something and I couldn't get it working. Anyway, let me have a quick look here, see if there's any voltages. So let's have a little looky. I know from previous that there was voltage here, nothing, and voltage here. Nothing, so there's nothing on this one here. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's check for shorts on capacitors. First of all, let's have a quick visual look around the place. See if we can see anything, and then we'll check for shorts, and that might give us an indication about what's wrong. Just looking for any holes in any of the chips. So that's all looking nice. And that is all looking nice. Well, there's nothing obvious. Right, let's get our meter into continuity. And we're going to use a ground here. Let's go across the caps. So it comes in here. Just going to look for shorts. If a cap's got a short on both sides, oh, here we go. Right, that could indicate a problem. We'll have to look at that. Oh, and we've got a short there as well. I think this one is going to be fixable. So now, voltage. What voltage would be fed into this chip? Let's have a look. Let's have a little looky. .3 volts. So if I put 1 volt in, then from memory, the other parts of this board were like, I think 1.08 volts, I think was the kind of highest. So if I was to get a little wire and put it onto there and put in some voltage at 1 volt, we might be able to see something getting warm because it's not drawing anything for it to get warm. You know what I mean? Via here, it's not drawing anything because maybe something's shutting down because it's detecting a fault. Let's solder this to the top of that capacitor. I'm just going to try to tap the top because there's capacitors right underneath it. I'm just going to try to tap it on the top. There we go. Right, so that's not shorting with anything else. You can see there it's just sat on top. Okay, so I'm going to get my bench power supply. I'm going to get it set to 1 volt. And I can whack up the amps. Right, so it's at 5 amps and it's at 0.9 off a volt. So if I go here and here, yep, 0.9 off a volt. So just under 1 volt. Let's see if that will get anything warm. So I am going to use this as my grounds here, and let's pop this on here, and it's gone straight to constant voltage at 0.9 volt. It's drawing 0.8 off an amp, so hopefully something's going to get warm. Let's get the flare cam. It'd be nice if it shows something up. Come on now. Love this because it's so quick. There we go. Already, look at that. Get me something plastic. I can see, what have I got heating up? Right, so hold on, there's something heating up here. Is that the actual component itself? Yeah, I think that's the lead itself. This is getting warm. What have we got going on here? This thing. Ah, could it be a fault with that chip then? That's where the heat's coming from. So I wonder, has that chip gone short? And maybe it's thrown the shorts up here, going across to here. Let's flip it over and see if anything's coming up on this side. Let me just rest this on here. No, you can see there's nothing there. Right, okay. Now, it doesn't mean that chip is faulty. Maybe that chip's just getting powered with 0.9 off a volt. But at least it gives us something to look at. Right now, should we just take that straight off, or should we start with... Well, first of all, let's see if it's the same chip as this one. MXL VXL 7704. Uh-oh, they're different. Oh no, they're different. I wonder, do they do exactly the same job? I mean, the layout's the same, isn't it? You know, all the components around it are exactly the same. I wonder, do they do the same job? As in, can I swap them over? Is this where the short's coming from? Yeah. I think if we were to remove the inductor, then we would find out is the short on here, because for example it could be going through the rest of the board, yeah, or it'd be going into here. But the very fact that this is heating up, I'm going to go straight for this. As well as that, I'm going to cause less damage to this by heating up this than heating up this. So look, we've got the dot here and the dot here. Let's just double check if I'm going to take the chip from here, dot here and dot here. Surely they must be interchangeable. Let's take this chip off and see if the short goes away. And it also makes sense that this is like the power chip, because look, it's right by where the USB-C connector comes in. Now, just before we take that chip off, let's have a quick word from today's sponsor, PCB Way. PCB Way is your one-stop solution for all things PCB fabrication and assembly. From rapid prototyping to full-scale production, PCB Way delivers top quality products. So whether you're a seasoned engineer or a hobbyist just starting out, PCB Way's user-friendly interface makes ordering your own custom PCBs very easy. And PCB Way do a variety of different services, including but not limited to assembling your PCBs, CNC machining, 3D printing, sheet metal fabrication, and injection molding. So when you're ready to take your designs to the next level, look no further than PCB Way and bring your ideas to life. So as always, a massive thanks to PCB Way for sponsoring the My Mate Vince channel. Now let's take this chip off and see what's happening with this little Raspberry Pi 4. Right, I've got my temperature set to 500 degrees Celsius and airflow 160 out of a possible 200. Right, now let's see where the short is now. Oh, hold on. Yeah, so it's not there. Look, can you see? It's not here no more. Yeah, so it was the chip. So the FLIR cam didn't lie. This is ground anyway. So that means now the short over here is going to be gone. Yeah? Right, let's swap the chips over and see if that fixes the problem. Might as well remove this wire now. This other board is the one from my failed previous attempt. It was one that I bought from eBay that was working, but sausage fingers here managed to short out two things and blow it up. So I don't actually know if this chip is a working chip or not, but I think it is. That's why I'm swapping it over. Oh, look, the pads are different. Oh no, it's different underneath. Oh no, I'm not going to be able to swap it. It's completely different underneath. Oh, gutted. Look, because these are going to eat down into this ground in the middle. Right, so they're in the same orientation. So now, where are the grounds? So there, these two. So although they're both grounds, because the pads are now different, yeah, can you see how on the board itself these two are going to eat onto here? So basically there's going to be loads of things like this power one here, which will now be grounded. Yeah. Oh no. Is there anything I can do? Is there anything I can do here? This is a ground here. Yeah, because the other chip's going to be coming across here, you see, and here, shorting all these out. Oh, gutted. Really, really, really gutted. Anyway, let's just quickly work out. So it was this one here, shouldn't be shorted, and it was shorted. So let's just see what's going on. Oh, I'm really disappointed. I thought I was going to be able to fix it. I don't want to have to get involved in buying a load of chips. I can price one up. Right, so it's there. So now if we flip it this side, it's going to be, where are you? It's these middle two, so it's the one underneath that, so it's this one here. So you can see the chip itself is shorted on that one there, the third one up, yeah. And if we do the same on this one, again it's going to be the third one up. This one shouldn't be shorted. 1, 2, 3. No. So you can see the chip's gone internally. Yeah, no short there. Short here. I mean, there is something I could do. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16, 32. I could mount this over here and run 32, 32 wires across. But the chip's not going to be getting any cooling from the ground. I can't think of what else to do unless I was to put solder mask here, but then I'm going to struggle. These are not going to make contact with here. You understand what I mean by, look, the ground comes right up, so the ground will be coming up to here, so it's going to end up shorting all these because the middle one's so much bigger than this. Let me have a quick price up of these chips, just in case they're available for like next day delivery on eBay or something. Well, that's absolutely gutting. You cannot buy them. So this is the Raspberry Pi forum, and it says looking for a replacement PMIC DA9090, which is my one. Apparently they're the newer ones, and it says here they have several ones using that. The IC is broken. We look to others to replace what kind of IC can be used, because we've searched for that and no store seems to offer this IC. And it says here, looks like there's no alternative. It says the manufacturer of that's the one that's gone faulty on my one, has been acquired by Renesas. It appears that Renesas have decided to no longer offer that, or they don't offer it in small quantity distributors and sub 10,000 piece buyers. They still offer other parts in the line, but not that one. And it's saying that it's saying that it seems that the one that's failed in my one is much more sensitive than its predecessor, the MXL7704, which is this one here. Let me just double check that. MXL7704, yeah. So the older one was better. It stops it working, dies much earlier. Also in boards with the one that's failed, it died without protecting for overvoltage almost every time and thus killed some other IC like that on the way. And it's saying that it's not actually, it's saying that they're slightly different. And I've had a look and they are slightly different. They're not a drop-in replacement. And I don't think it's just because the IC is like a different layout. If you actually have a look, some of the traces are different. So if we have a look here, this is the one I got from eBay. Can you see up here we have like 1, 2, 3. So it goes to a via here. See, that's via. That via goes to that cap. If we look on this one, we've got via to a cap, via. But look at this side of the cap. It goes down to 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes to here, number 4 here. While on this one, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. 4's this massive rail here. It's not that side of the cap. It's that side of the cap. See what I mean? So there is differences. So I think even if I was to do it, I don't think, if I was to run a load of wires, I don't think it's going to work. Because look, that goes to there, not here. Yeah. So these two are not connected. While on this one, these two are connected. 1 and 4. You see. So they're all going to be different, aren't they? I think I'm just wasting my time, but I would be curious to see what happens. Do it, Vince, do it! Come on, you can do it. Run 30 something wires and let's see if this other chip can work on this board here. So for the purpose of entertainment, that's exactly what I'm going to do. But I won't put you through an hour's torture. I'll whiz through the whole thing and you can just listen to a little bit of music. And I will play for you 9 Violets. Thank you, Matt, if you're watching.
Desperation led to you, following this fool
Okay, that took me an hour and a half. Are you ready for the masterpiece? Ta-da! And people say I can't solder. I know. Thank you so much. I do agree. My cable management is just amazing. Look at that. It's so organised. Look at that. It's beautiful. Actually resembles the Raspberry down here. Let's just see now if we have any voltages that we didn't have before. So 3.3 volts. We didn't have that before. Is it going to burn up? Is it going to explode? Let's see. Right, so I've got this plugged in here. Let's plug it in and see what's going to happen. Right, we've got a light on. It's drawing, actually. It's drawing a little bit. Ooh. Let's see if we have 3.3 volts. Imagine if we did. Oh, the amount of time I had my soldering iron on, I probably could have bought a new working Raspberry Pi. Would have probably been cheaper. Now, what have we got up here? Please show 3.3. No way. No way. There's 3.3 volts there. Wow, we have got 3.3 volts there. Unbelievable. Hold on now, what other voltage should we have? Let's have a look here. So that's the 5 volt. Oh no. See, I think I just shorted something there now. Let's go on to that one. That's 5 volt. I don't really know where it's making a 3.3. 3.3. Let's plug this masterpiece into a TV and see if it's displaying anything. Imagine if it displayed something. I don't think it will. Right, let's plug this in here. Here goes. Come on, display something. No. Actually, do you know what I haven't done? I didn't run a wire from the ground in the middle to to the ground in the middle of this. Okay, I've run a massive big meaty ground wire there. When I did that, a couple of the other wires came off, but it's still, I've put them back on, it's still not making any difference whatsoever. Interestingly though, it's drawing 0.11 amps, and when I put in a little SD card, it does flicker between that and 0.13. So watch this now, it will start flickering. Yeah, so it's kind of like it does recognise that the SD card's in it. You see? But yet nothing's displaying on the screen. So I don't know. It could be that the soldering's wrong. It could be that the chip's not compatible. Or I think what it is just the fact the traces are in a different place. So what you would have to do is you would have to find out on another board. How would you find it out? You'd have to find out the pinout for basically that chip and the chip that came with the board, and then you would have to maybe solder to other points, because just because those pins are in the same place, it doesn't actually mean they are going to the same place. So it looks like 90% of them are the same, but 10% of them are definitely a little bit different. And for example, where it goes to a via, I'm sort of thinking like it may go to the same place elsewhere, but it might not. For example, up the top here, we definitely know on one of the chips that 2 of the ones are bridged, but on this chip, they're not. So, yeah. I'll tell you what I could do. I could just bridge the wires. Yeah, let me do that, because there was definitely one at the top that was bridged, and that was before the capacitor, and on this one it's different. So let me just bridge that up, and then I'll finish up the video. Right, so the chip's expecting 1 and 4 up here to be bridged together. So the top right pin and 3 along from that, 1 and 4 from the top right. So I've bridged them together on this one, even though the board didn't want it to be bridged. Let's just see if that does make any difference whatsoever. So I've basically soldered the 2 wires together. I have got a loose wire here, but it's just a ground. Right, let's see. Now are you going to do anything? Right, so we've got slightly less amp draw now. But nothing's happening. Oh well, it was worth a try. We definitely proved what the fault was. It was nice to have something that had a short, so it was nice to use the FLIR cam, and we definitely proved it was that chip. It's just unfortunate that you can't buy that chip. Move on, Vince, move on. Next up, we have the Game Kid Mark II. Was there ever a Mark 1? I don't know. I could imagine Ashen's doing some sort of film about this here. And I had to buy it because A, I just love the name Game Kid instead of Game Boy. And the description here, I don't think it's AI generated. This guy is really good at sales. This vintage Maxim Game Child Mark II 80s LCD car racing retro Game Boy spares repair is a must-have for any video game enthusiast. The game features a red colour scheme and is perfect for collectors or those looking to restore the device. I mean, look at it. It looks absolutely awful, but it's kind of clever. So obviously it's just one of those little simple LCD games where you've got to move left and right and dodge, a bit like a Game & Watch type thing. But I do like the way that you can change the cartridges over. So look at that there. And what do you spy here? Oh, just made a noise. I spy a ribbon cable. So it's designed to put different cartridges in, which is good. Now, when I put it down here, I do get some life out of it. Annoyingly, it's, and it didn't show this in the listing, it's broken here. So it's absolutely, completely unplayable because this has to clip in. This, I think, is okay. I think this bit here, no game's going to clip into this. So you'd have to hold it down. But even if I hold it down, I haven't got any sounds. And when I do this, nothing's happening. Yeah, my car's not coming up. And even if I go here, I can't seem to move it around. Yeah. Put a good battery in. So let's take it apart and see if we're not going to be able to get it working because of this clip thing at the back, but we might be able to at least see why it's not playable. So we have a little piezo buzzer here, so it should make sounds even if the display is not, against the zebra connector very well. Now actually, I suppose different games, hold on a minute, unless every single game is the same, it's just got a different display. So it might be like car racing, boat racing, aeroplane, that sort of stuff. But there should be, I'm thinking there should be different sounds, but I don't know. I don't know whether this has any brains in it or is it just a display. Can we open it up? Yes, we can. I think it's quite an interesting little device. Okay. So that connects on with two little springs. So maybe the contact, that might have worn, you know. In fact, does that not look very worn just there? That's worn through, hasn't it? I think that whole thing needs to be turned around. It's just been melted in position. I wonder, can we get it out at all? Yes, we can. I just need to put it out and just turn it around a little bit. There we go. So that's going to make fresh contact now. Isn't it horrible the way it's just been melted on there with a soldering iron? Bang and bang. Right, so let's just have a little look behind here. So this is the control board here. You know, the input for the button presses. Let's see what's just happening in here. Is that a little blob chip up here? Yes, it is. And this is the thing here for the ribbon cable. Let's give that a little clean. Not the ribbon cable, the zebra cable. And that looks very dirty, so it could be as simple as, oh look how, I've never seen one that big, look at that. Could be as simple as a zebra connector not making a good contact. And the reason there was no sounds is because the piezo buzzer had worn through. I think this is going to work now, just from doing those two things. I've never seen a zebra cable that big before, it's amazing. Hold on a minute, look at that crystal, that wasn't me. Look at that crystal there. Are they touching? No, I don't think they are. It shouldn't be like that. There we go. So now they're not going to be shorting against each other, but they weren't anyway. It's interesting how you just pop the battery in here, and there's no sign or anything on here to show you how to put the battery in. Excellent. Did you hear that? I heard that. Let's pop a couple of screws in. Do you know what? I'm that confident it's going to work. I'm putting all the screws back in. Let's have a quick look in the game to see if it is just a screen or if there's a chip in there. I think every single cartridge for this would be the same. Just a different screen. Also, let's give this a little clean up. Just give that a little clean with IPA. There we go. Right now, let's see. I think it's just going to be the screen, which it is. There's no chip in there. So they put a different LCD in and a different background there. That's interesting. That's actually got a little bit of glue on it just here. See if we can get rid of that. That's a really nice kind of glittery display. So while I'm in the cartridge, I give everything else a little clean up as well. The contacts, the zebra connector, the polarizers, and the LCD display itself. So once it's all clean again, let's put it back together and let's test it. And hopefully we'll see that it's all working because I put all the screws in. So I'm wondering if there's no on and off. Is it just constantly running? Or is it only, it's not going to be clever enough to time out, is it? Oh wow, that's much better. Look at that. Oh, that's much better now. Oh, I can move it. There's no sound. Oh, it's working well though. How many movements are there left to right? 1, 2. Oh, I crashed. Actually, it's quite clever. 1, 2. Right, we've got to find out why the sound's not working. What does half a game mean? Is that half speed? Right, let's see what's going on with the sound. Now, if I'd only put 2 screws in to secure it, this would have worked perfectly. But YouTube law states that whenever you put all the screws into something, it will never, ever work. That's because it has to keep those people happy. They always tell you not to put the screws in until you've tested something. So because I put all the screws in, of course the sound's not working. So let's take it apart again, undoing all the screws that I've just done up, and let's find out why this sound is not working. I heard it make a little beep then. So if we go in there and there, that should be on a new piece. So we're going to have one on the outside, aren't we? And then one in the middle. I don't want to wipe away all that, otherwise it's not going to work. It's like sort of silver conductive type paint stuff, isn't it? So let's stretch these out a little bit. Now it's a little bit stretched. Let's see if that's going to make a difference. There we go. No, strange. It works the very first time we put it on. There. And then stops. What's that about? Why does it work when it's loose? Why do you work when you're loose but not tight? Now, luckily for you lot, this is a bundle of fixes type video, so I'm not going to make you sit through the next 45 minutes like I had to in real life, testing every single component. I was looking at the transistor. In fact, I swapped the transistor over. I was looking at the inductor. I was looking at the crystal. In fact, I think I swapped the crystal over. I was also looking at all the contacts everywhere, and I was even looking at the springs and installed a new piezo buzzer. Yes, I did all that. I was on this for ages. And then desperation got to me, and I had a look on Google. Google led me to a video done by Ashens. When he unboxed his one and started playing it, it also had no sound, which confused him, just like it confused me. But he luckily had the instructions, and guess what? It's designed to be like that. There is a selection you can do to have sound on or off, because if you think about it, if you were using this in the back of your parents' car on a trip, they would probably be driven mad hearing a beep, 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 beep coming from the back seat. Also, if you were trying to slyly play this somewhere and you were trying to be discreet, you wouldn't want it making all the beeping sounds, those beautiful tones that the piezo buzzer makes. So basically, there was nothing wrong with this. It just needed a clean from the very beginning. So now I have to put all the original components back in again, solder it all up. I can't fix the clip, but what I do is I just wedge a little bit of cardboard down, and it's just a friction fit. So yeah, there wasn't anything wrong with this one. It just needed a clean up, and that's why the zebra connectors weren't making a good contact on the screen. That's why it wasn't working properly. But as far as the sound's concerned, it's designed like that. It's a setting to turn on and off. So let me show you the end of the video when it's all back together, and I'll show you the sound working and also a bit of gameplay. It's actually a better game than I gave it credit for. Right, so 2 here. Change the time, pretend it's that, go to here. Now it's on that melody mode. So now hit that, and we should be ready to go. Start. Ah, listen to that. And it's all original. Excellent. Right, I'm going to put the keys, screws back in. Brilliant, and set the time. I can't believe this. I thought I glitched out the game because I went up here and I started giving me loads of points. But when there's a pit stop, you can actually go off the screen. Check this out. Pit stop. Oh, I should have gone over. There you go. There, look at that. Fuel. F-U-E-L. How clever's that? And I don't know whether I go up or what I do. And now I come back here. It's clever, isn't it? Look, got up here as well. It looks like some checkered flag comes up. Anyway, there you go. There's another little dimension to the game that I didn't know existed. I actually quite like this thing. How bad's that? Let me see if I can get to 2000, then I'll end. Look at that. 2000. Well, there we have it. I really like the game, kid. I'm going to go on eBay, see if you can get games for it. But clearly every game is exactly the same, isn't it? It's just different graphics. I've actually found something I'm good at. Look at that. There we go. As soon as I seen this item, I had to have it. I put an offer in of £25 and it was accepted. As soon as I seen it, it reminded me of my childhood. I didn't have one, but it must have just been the adverts on the TV that I remembered. So this came out in 1986. The weird thing is, I don't actually remember wanting one. So I'm thinking at that age then, I would have been 10. Maybe I was a little bit old for this. But sure enough, as soon as I seen it, the memories did come flooding back off my childhood. So it must have just been the adverts on the TV. Right, what's it say here? Uh-oh, I found part of the back wheel gear. That might be why it didn't work. I've placed it in the little bag. Hope you can fix it. Ah, now this person, as far as I know, don't know that I do a YouTube channel. So, okay. Now, it just said it's not working. It didn't say anything else. But it's one of those things where I see something like this, I get all excited. And then when it arrives, I get nervous because it just reminds me of the Truckatronic and numerous other things. 80s, gonna have those nylon gears, and we all know what happens with the nylon gears. The nylon shrinks, the metal axle that goes through it doesn't shrink, and then they crack. So, I think I'm going to be in for a whole heap of pain with this one here. So I need to remind myself to not get anything that could have nylon gears in. It's just that, when I see stuff like this, tow me. Thing is though, it doesn't just bring back memories for me, it brings back memories for all the viewers as well. Look at that. Now, look at it. Surely anybody similar age to me would remember the adverts from that from years ago. And again, it's Tomy. It's going to have been around in America as well, probably under a different name. Goodyear. Oh, and I wonder how good, if we can get it working, we've got to set some obstacles out to see whether or not it can actually climb over things. Now, what's this one about the gear? Wheel gear. Oh, no, 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 no. Well, that's exactly why it doesn't work. Oh, no. Instant fail. Can you see this gear here? Look, just here, black. You can't really see it, can you, here? And can you see it's cracks if I turn it round? Okay, but if they've given me the other half of it, then maybe I will be... Oh, there it is there. Maybe I'll be able to glue it up and use some Q-Bond or something like that. Right, so let's get some batteries in this. Let's get that over to the blue or yellow. Not too sure. I'll see what my mood takes me. Blue 1. Right, now, for somebody that doesn't like gears... When I brought this over, I realised that there's a black gear on every single wheel, and on both sides as well, and every single wheel is a gear as well, so it's all wheel drive. Look, you can see there that it's all wheel drive, and that one there. So I think that this really will have a lot of torque if we can get it going, and maybe it will climb over lots of things that look impossible, because look, this is at the very front, there's no bump or anything, so it will kind of want to go over many things. Right, okay, let's pop some batteries in and see what it's going to do. Is the problem just that that gear is broken? Right, we're in off position, ready? Oh no. You know what that means. Oh, hold on. That's broken as well. But it's not spinning. The axle's not spinning. So if you have a look at the actual axle itself, there's nothing happening. You know full well that the gears on the inside of this are going to have strips. And I bet you they're white plastic gears as well. Right, okay, so not only is the gear broken here, so we don't have power to the wheels, we would still have power to this wheel because that one's cracked, but it doesn't look as if it's completely snapped through. It's the fact that in the gearbox itself, the gears have gone. So you never know, we might be lucky. Something might be fixable, or it might be just misaligned. Let's undo some screws and take it apart. So we have a load of screws on the bottom that we've got to undo to try to get access to the gearbox to see why we can hear the motor working, but it's not actually going through the gears to the outside. Without even going into it, I already know it's going to have white plastic gears that have cracked, where basically the gears shrink, just like I said at the beginning of the video, but the metal axle doesn't shrink, and then the gears crack and they end up just spinning freely on the axle. They're not gripping onto the axle, so they're just freewheeling around the place. Oh, okay, so when it's off there, can you see this little lever is pushing this little rod down in here? There's a little rod deep down just in here. And can you see when we go back, it pushes it down, and then when we do that, it makes the contact. So that's just going to be allowing, it must be this red wire or something, I'm not too sure. But anyway, is this a big crack we can see? Yes, it's a big crack we can see here. So what I thought had happened has happened. So now, is this... why is this not spinning here though? So this is a kind of acting as a clutch, isn't it? So it gives. So why is this not... that's not even on the motor. That's not even on the motor at all. So what pushes it this way? That's against a spring. Those teeth look okay. That's that half a gear. Why is this one not more over this way? And what's that gear here for? Is there two speeds? Oh, there's two speeds. 1 second, let me just double check that now. It just says off and on. But look, if we look underneath, when we do the lever, can you see it's like a halfway? Look, can you see? It's supposed to move that one along, isn't it? Like that. So it's got a gear against here as well. So it should have two speeds. Let me check the box. Right, it says here, now with 2 speeds and freewheel action. Freewheel. So that means you should be able to just roll it along the ground. How's that supposed to work? So when it's in the off position there, it does freewheel. Yeah. Now let's go to that position. So that should, which is not, move along to there. But it's still freewheeling. That's because this is not in. 1 second now. Let's go back again. Well, that's not going to freewheel in that position, is it? No. Right, I'm not sure how that freewheel's supposed to work. Anyway, let's see if we can work the rest of this out. So, that's off. That's halfway. So that's supposed to grip against there. And then that way, hold on, what's the difference here now? Right, that grips against there on that drive. And then when we do it full, that one grips against there and that one misses there. Well, that doesn't look broken there. I'm really confused how that is supposed to fit onto that when you can clearly see that it's missing and it doesn't look worn down. It's like I need to put a washer under here. Or has it, do you know what's happened? The plastic's spread out over the years, isn't it? Can you see? It's spread out here and here. So if that was pinched in, can you now see? And it still doesn't fit, does it? Well, I don't know how it's happened, but all I can see is that it looks slightly bowed out here and here. So that's going to then make this go more over that way, because if it was bowed in more, it's going to put more pressure against this spring to bring this over. And if you have a look at the motor, does it, let me try to get it straight. Can you see it's off in this direction a bit? Again, it's kind of bent away from the gear. It needs to go over this way. I think the motor plastic here has somehow become bent as well, which is just kind of all odd. Strange, isn't it? So the problem is all the gears are cracked everywhere, so I don't think it's going to work very well regardless. But first thing we need to do is we do need to try to get that in contact with this. This is more challenging than I thought, even without getting involved in trying to fix the gear here. Well, I'm just wondering, could I shave a tiny little bit off the plastic here and then put a packing piece down here? Would that not move it over? And then if it works, I can worry about putting a bit of super glue around the gears and then trying to fix up these outer gears. I'm wondering whether it'd be possible to swap these gears for ones at the front. I know the front wheels are also important because they go over things, but would that be an option? Thing is, these are like pressed on at the moment. Once they come off, they might end up wanting to come off all the time. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the soldering iron and I'm actually going to melt away a little bit of this part here. The reason I'm doing that is because rather than just using like a Dremel tool, if I use a soldering iron, I'm kind of keeping the plastic here, I'm just deforming it a little bit. And then I might be able to take some of that plastic and shove it down this side here. Let's give it a go. Now you should never breathe in burning plastic, so I will just use my extractor fan. Right, okay, so you get the idea now. Can you see that it is actually, the motor is turning, but obviously I'm putting pressure on it. So now if I was to get a bit of plastic and put it down this side and kind of melt it into place, I might get away with it. Right, cable tie. Now I'm wondering, could I actually use it as a cable tie, or is it going to be far too small? Let's have a little looky. I could put it... Could I put it that way round? I'm just going to have to go that way. No, it's going to be in the way of that. I might be able to put it this way round. And I've got all this plastic left over now to do stuff with. No, it's going to get in the way. Right, that's not an option. Okay, but I can use the plastic to melt down inside there. So let's do that now and see if it's going to stick. Right, so you can see I've flooded it with plastic. Now let's try to force this in while melting it, and hopefully it will work its way in. Okay, so that's now moving independently of that mess there. Let's have a look at the gears and see if we can melt across any of them. So we've got a big crack here. Basically, it's cracking everywhere. Right, now, I could try gluing them, but I'm thinking what might, I don't know whether it would be a better job, probably not, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some telephone cable, solid copper, not cheap CCA, and I'm going to try to bridge the gap in a few places just with this stuff here by melting it in. So if I was just to cut that bit there and that bit there, I wonder if that goes across, if I can melt that into it, whether or not that would fix it. And maybe even a little bit around here as well, because we've got a crack. Basically you can see the crack going right the way through it there. See that crack from here going right the way through? So let's try to do that. See, ideally, really, the ends would need to be melted, kind of, the ends would need to be bent, wouldn't they? Like a kind of zigzag. And that might stop it from pulling apart. Just make sure that's nice and flat. Right, let me try to melt that in there. Oh, nice, look at that, it just disappears in. Check this out. Right, so rest it there with a little bit of, well actually, I need to close it up first, don't I? Watch it disappear in. Oh, that's quite satisfying. Oh, there we go, that is actually buried in there now, so I wonder would that stop it from pulling apart again? I think that has to be better than glue, does it not? Now there's no point in doing this side, I'm just going to neaten this side up a little bit. But what I could do is I could try to go around this bit here. Well, that copper melted in there very nicely. It just disappeared into the middle of the gear. And although copper is pretty soft, because it's a zigzag, it should give it some kind of force to stop it from spreading wide again. I think it's like a staple, isn't it? You know, like when you have an operation and they staple you back together after the cut. Well, this copper here is acting like a kind of staple. Do you know what? Actually thinking about it, staples would work a lot better, wouldn't they? Because they're going to be a lot stronger than copper. I have to remember that for next time. Anyway, I've got lots of gears that are cracked on here, so I'm just going to go across each of them and try to fix them by putting bits of copper across. You've seen the technique now. I'm just going to do it on all the gears that I can that are broken. Remember, we've got two big broken gears on the outside as well. It's just a bit of a rinse and repeat. I'm not going to show you doing every single gear, so I'm just going to fast forward through it with a bit of music and then I'll show you the end result.
We set sail too soon. I'm wiser now than I was in my youth. Too many a tale to tell. I see in you what's not in myself. But if you give me moments, a little bit of your time, I'll be waiting for you. So lower me home, different day but the same old story. So I have been told, forgive and forget all that went before me, forever saving my soul, before it takes hold of me, instead of letting me go. Let's write a brand new story. We can make it great. Don't overthink it, it's a shame it's the same. It's time for us to stand. Do what you do while you still can. But if you give me moments, a little bit of your time, I'll be waiting for you. So lower me home, different day but the same old story.
Right, I think I'm done. So you can see I've put copper wire between here and here to cover the break on that side, and around here and here to cover the break on. This one's hidden really well, but yeah, it's in here to cover the break there. So that's that one done. This one wasn't actually cracked to the edge, it was just this middle bit that was cracked. You've seen me do this one on camera earlier, again, quite nicely hidden. That's this one in here, not quite so nice. And, oh sorry, you can see the wire has gone in here, yeah. And these two look horrendous, but you know what? Well, I'll say this now and it will probably break instantly, but they feel incredibly strong. I mean, you can see the break was going across here. And now, I mean, I don't want to tempt fate, but that does seem pretty good. This one was the one that was completely broken through here. And that feels strong to me, but you know, there can be a lot of torque on these things, can't they? So it might not work when I put it back together. Or for example, the motor, the gear on the motor might be completely loose, but let's put it back together and see what it does. So I'm going to add some Molykote grease to the gearbox. Thanks Gadget UK, that was one of your recommendations. And then we're going to bring it into the kitchen floor as we always do. And let's see if it's going to work. And let's set up a little obstacle course, see what it can muster. I've done a little obstacle course here with a hammer, the Having Fun Repairs Dremel tool, a smelly slipper, and a Kip Hakes mug and a bunch of bananas. I think it's going to get over the hammer okay, and I think it's going to struggle on everything else, but let's see. So now there's no power in it whatsoever. When it was new, there would have been power in it. I'm not quite sure why that is. The motor looks nice and clean and it sounds nice. I don't think it sounds overly noisy. I think the problem is it's an accumulation effect where there's the mesh between the gear and the motor and the first right angled gear is a little bit out, so that causes a bit of resistance. That one onto the next one is a little bit out, so that causes resistance, and then as we go along it just amplifies. And even maybe the two that I repaired here and here might be a fraction of a millimetre bigger, in which case then when you add all that up it hasn't got enough power to get it through all the wheels when there's any bit of resistance whatsoever. So yeah, it's not is it better than it was to begin with? Yes, it works, but if you were a collector you would have preferred it as it was before, because I've melted things on the inside. But saying that, from the outside it looks as good as it always did, and now at least it does work. So let me just finish off the video on this little obstacle course. Are you ready? It's quite quick. Go on. Yes. Oh, wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting it to do the Dremel tool. Let's now see if it can do the slipper and the Kip Hakes mug and bananas. Ready? Go on, go on. Nah, you see, no power there. Yeah, it stops at any opportunity. Yeah, there you go. Real shame. Because it's clever how all the wheels are driven. Go on. Yeah. Let's just try it from this angle. It's weird. I don't quite understand how it can work so nice on the flat, but give it any obstacle and it just stops. Because it's quite consistent with how it works here. You know, it's not pulsing like this. Oh well, look, I suppose it's better than it was, but it's still nothing like it was at the beginning, and there's not much that can be done about that. It's got the age-old problem where the nylon shrinks, maybe the oils leave the nylon, so it shrinks. The metal doesn't shrink, and it has nowhere to go, so it tries shrinking onto the axle, and it splits. Pretty much every single gear there was split, so I need to remind myself to stop looking at childhood toys because the same problem seems to be on all of them. So yeah, for me, not very enjoyable, but still an enjoyable inside. Like, you can see the thought that's gone into it. It's nice the fact that all the wheels are driven, so even if these back two are off, these are going to be pulling it along, and vice versa. When it's going up something steep, it doesn't matter if these are off because these are pulling it along. So the fact it's all working from one motor is quite clever with all the gears like this here. It's just that unfortunately, because of the gearbox, those gears have all split, and I think it's just a knock-on effect where any bit of resistance and the whole thing, the motor just stops working because it kind of wants to stop anyway. What would be interesting is if you were to do it down a hill like this, would it then be able to get over these things? Because I suppose there's less weight on it because gravity's helping it. I would presume it would then get over it okay. So yeah, there we have it. Bit of a shame, but I should have known that a toy this old, 36 years old, is going to have problems like that. Oh, I hate white plastic gears. Doesn't matter how much work you do to them, they just never seem to work. I think if it was just one broken gear, I would have gotten away with it, but there was just too many broken gears. It is what it is. Let's move on to the next item. Here we have a Karcher window vac. So after you've washed your windows, you're supposed to suck up all the excess water, and it's supposed to leave them streak and smear free. You recognise the name Karcher because they make loads of pressure washers, you know, for cleaning your drives, your gardens, etc. And it was sent in by Flying Moe. They have previously sent in an electronic drum kit. You might remember that one. I thought that was quite an interesting fix on that one. It says, I'm pretty sure that got on your nerves pretty quickly. Well, that's why I sent it in the first place. Well, there you go. It hasn't had much use here either, Flying Mower, understandably. Now, it says here that it charges up, but when you switch it on, it works for a few seconds and then it turns off. It may just need a new battery, but I'm sure you'll find the fault. The fault may be intermittent. And certainly it is charging up. You can see here, in fact, it looks like it's nearly charged because it's like 2 out of 3 lights. But every single time I turn it on, it will turn off after about 5 seconds. See, and it doesn't sound right either. Then you have to turn it off and back on again. And it does that. But check this out, this is interesting. If we take this off, it will still do it, I think. Hold on. Oh, there's a button here to press. There we go. No, it's when you put your hand over it. Listen. So it's like when it's sort of... so when you're using it, it won't work because as soon as you've got the suction, as soon as you've got the resistance of the glass on here, it's going to find it harder to suck. So when it's under pressure, it seems to happen. So I think it will stay like that. Yes, he's not doing it now, but watch. As soon as I add, I won't even go fully on it. And it goes off. And I didn't cover it fully there. I left a little hole here. Let's take it apart a little bit more. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, it doesn't sound right. It shouldn't be making that kind of grating noise, so I think we need to take it apart. I don't think it's a battery problem. I think it's whatever that grating noise is. I think that's the problem. Oh, we've got some screws. Okay, so hopefully it will come apart quite easy. Let's bring it over to the mat and see what's happening. Hold on, does this... Oh, this loosens as well. Oh, wow, this is the battery here. Oh, so it's got like a replaceable battery. Well, if you had another one, you could just swap that over and see if it's doing the same problem. Oh, that's good to know. Right, let's bring it over to the mat, see if we can fix it. Well, I think I'm going to enjoy this one. You know, you get a feeling sometimes. Well, I have this feeling about this one here. Right, let me see if... It looks like they're weird Torx. But I think that one's deep. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that with the iFixit kit. Let's see what they are. Right, they look to be T9. Is that going to fit in here? No. Do you know what? Hold on. Is there anything in here? I think I got this with the yellow mat. Is the yellow mat going to come to the rescue? Torx 6. That's going to be too small. Annoyingly, they're all too small. Oh, this will get it. Flathead will get it here. Result, the yellow mat came to the rescue. I should use yellow on this, then you wouldn't be able to see it at all. Right, it's got this kind of rubbery coating at the bottom. It's a good idea to take the battery out. Tell you what, let's measure the battery and see what it's measuring. So it's a 3.7 volt battery, so if it's fully charged, it's going to be about 4.2 volts. Let's go on the outer 2 pins, see if that reads anything. 4 volts. So it could be that the battery is weak, meaning that when you go to then use it, it will drop. But I don't think so. I think it's all related to the sound. Right, so that's unclipped from there. There must be those little clips everywhere. Or is it clipped? Does it keep this plastic behind, I wonder? I think it does. Yes, it does. Unless there's little hidden screw. No, that's not rubber there. Don't know how this comes off. I've bent that already. Okay, maybe don't use that on this one. Oh, it's just held in with loads of... It'd be obvious now when it's off how it's held in. Can you see there's holes here and stuff that's holding it in and little clips? There we go. That is fiddly. So yeah, there's a clip here, and a clip here. They're quite bent up now. I think they'll go back in all right. Now, are you going to come apart? Oh, we've got another screw in here. We're in. Okay, so it's a little ribbon cable going up to switch. That looks like it could break very easy. And we have a load more screws here. Hold on, well, this pops off. Ah, right. Ah, what do you see? What do you see there? Look at that. So that was on this way. You know what's happening? When you put this on here, it's lifting this up. It must be a bit loose. It's lifting this up, which is then fouling here. Can you see? And then it's noticing that it's not spinning freely. It's got resistance, and it's shutting down because it thinks it's blocked. Or, you know, it's measuring the strain, isn't it? Can you see all that score marks there? See, they're not there, but they're there. There you go. That's a perfect one there. All around here, you can see them. So this must be slightly off center. So I reckon if you turned it on now, it would work just fine. Forever. Until the battery goes flat. Hope that doesn't spin off. There we go. So it's either become loose or slightly off-centered. Do you reckon we just need to push it down? Because what's happening is with the suction, it's creating suction, isn't it? And it's lifting this up. That's all it's doing. So it's just lifting that much, and that's enough to hit it. So if I could push it down, in fact, you can see it's scraping here as well. Push it down. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Hold on a minute. That went far too easy. Oh, that comes off really easy. Ah, no, that's a problem. Let's have a look in here. I think it's broken. I think it's broken here. It's cracked. There you go. Or is it designed to be like that? That looks like a very nice crack, doesn't it? No, it's designed to be like that. Right, okay. Well, that's fine. All I have to do is put a bit of tape or something in here to make sure it grips better. Well, that's a very simple fix. And I don't think that's to do with being dropped or anything. I think that's just kind of worked loose through use. So, because there's a bit of play here, but not much. That's what's happened. Right, let's add a little bit of Captain tape on there, just to add a bit of, you know, because that's on and off too easy. Look how easy that is to come on and off. I mean, what else could I do? How about heat shrink? Would a heat shrink make it too big? Heat shrink will probably be too big. Let's try heat shrink first, because that'd be a more permanent solution. And for the purpose of the video, it would look nicer, wouldn't it? Let's just see. Have I got any old bits here? What about a green? Green's too small. What about this black bit here? Would be perfect. That would be perfect there, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm going to put that on there. Let's heat it up. Alright, that's on there. Let's see if this is going to force its way down onto it or not. No, annoyingly it just pushed it right down. Right, I wonder if I was to fold the top. Let's take the top off like that, shrink it down. It might be less inclined to fall down then. Like that. Yes, look, I'm in. Can you see I'm in there? Right, let's see if that's going to force down now. Did that just come out the top? What? That's hold on, is that still on the bottom though? Maybe That's going to do it. Alright, hold on a minute. I remember when I was filming this live, I thought it was strange because to me it looked like the heat shrink was slipping. All of a sudden, the heat shrink pops out the top. I've just edited this back and this is like a magician's trick. You can clearly see the heat shrink is sliding down the shaft and then all of a sudden it's out the top. But it can't be out the top if it's sliding. So what on earth is going on here? Do you think originally there was some sort of heat shrink on it and by me putting another heat shrink on, I've pushed the old heat shrink out of the top? Look at it now in real time again and you can see what I mean. You can see the heat shrink sliding, then all of a sudden, boom, it's out the top. Yet the heat shrink I put on is not long enough to be at the very bottom of the shaft and hanging out the top. So yeah, really weird. I'm now thinking that there was another heat shrink inside and it must have somehow worked its way loose. Let me know what you think. Yes, look, I'm in. Can you see I'm in there? Right, let's see if that's going to force down now. Did that just come out the top? What? That's, hold on, is that still on the bottom though? Maybe that's going to do it. That's going to do it. Look, it's come out the top here. Okay, let's chop that off. There we go. You can see, it's done it. That was a result, wasn't it? Right, let's turn it on. I'm just going to cover up my face. There we go. I think that is going to be okay. Let's pop this on, see if it's making that grating noise. Right, here we go. I feel safer now. There we go. It's not making that noise anymore. So it's blowing out here and sucking from here. It's not cutting out now. Well, there we go. Really interesting. Okay, let me clean this up here and put it back together. While I'm putting this Karsha window vac back together, let's give a shout out to the My Mate Vince Massive. The top level members are kitdigital.com, Kip Hakes, Max Rokotansky, Chris Seal, Felipe at MrKeebs.com, DJVG, Pigsy, Anthony Dean, Bazza2, Ross Mellinson, Gaspar Heller, Ricard Bergland, Soul Reaver 555, the My Mate Vince Fan Club, Shamsa Al Sawadi, Stuart Park and Stephen from the Broken Past on YouTube. So a massive thanks to each and every one of you. Now let's do a little bit of window cleaning and see if this thing actually gathers up any water. Right, here goes. For that Norman wisdom without the humour, less money and worse hair. Oh, I couldn't even get the joke right. I was sure When I'm Cleaning Windows was by Norman Wisdom. It's George Formby. Apologies. That was a good one. My oh my, that really does work amazingly well, and it's gathered some water in the bottom. Do you know what? I'm going to do some more. Right, well it's certainly working because you can see the dirty water in the bottom of it there. It really does work incredibly well. There's no streaks on that. That's really, really impressive. So massive thanks to Flying Mower. I love fixes like that, where you can hear a problem and then you can physically see a problem. You don't even need a multimeter to fix this one here. You can just see it with your eyes. Very, very impressed with that. So there we have it, the end of this video here. For me, hands down, this was my favourite one, because I love it when you can physically see the problem. So for example, when a chip is faulty, great, you can measure a capacitor around it and it might show that the chip's faulty, but it's not as satisfying as physically hearing a noise, and then when you take it apart you can visibly see the rubbing, and then it all makes sense, doesn't it? It can't spin as freely, so it shuts itself down. For me, by far, that there was my favourite fix. And although this wasn't really a fix as such, well, I mean, it was a fix, it was sold as faulty and now it's fully working, I quite like this device here, and I'm not sure why, because I know it's a complete copy of a Game Boy and I know it doesn't compare to a Game Boy. I think I like the fact that you can change the cartridge with the little zebra connector there. I think it is actually quite clever. Obviously done in a very cheap way. So there we have it. I hope you had a relaxing time over this last hour and a half, and hopefully next month I'll be able to put together another video of a mixture of different stuff, and in between that I will be releasing videos in their own right on individual items. I just quite like doing the job lot type videos, even though they are quite time consuming to do. I think it's nice to have a mixture of faults, and I think it's nice that you can maybe take a bit of time out of your week to sit back and just relax and take a bit of time to yourself. If you enjoyed this video, give it a massive thumbs up, and I will hopefully see you all very soon. In the meantime, take care.